Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Kayfabe Central podcast, and welcome back to another post-show review. Today, I will be going over TNA Impact that just went down. Technically, just went down. TNA Impact was pre-taped in advance, but it just aired moments ago. So I will be going over everything that happened on TNA Impact. Before I get into this, I will say I think it was like 20 minutes late um, to turn TNA on because I had to step out real quick, and then I got back later than I was expecting to. So thankfully, I only missed the opening segment between Trick Williams and Mike Santana, but I was able to, go back and find what happened. Especially with it being pre-taped, like there was already things written up about it. So yeah, I went back and saw what happened, and so I have the notes in front of me. So if you see me like reading a lot more when I'm talking about this opening segment, it's because I didn't take the notes myself because I didn't actually watch it live. I just had to go back and like watch the clips of the segment and then just took the important bits of it and put it into my own notes. So there is that. But yeah, before we get into TNA Impact and the post show review, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you're up to date with all the videos, podcasts, and interviews that come to the channel. And post show reviews. I do these for every weekly show now. I'm going to be doing it for Raw, NXT, Dynamite, TNA, and SmackDown. And then obviously we've always been doing the post show reviews for the PLEs and pay-per-views. This Sunday, though, like I mentioned, it might be a little bit weird. The post show might be on the Monday after for Forbidden Door and Heatwave, just because I have Destiny Wrestling to be at on the Sunday, so I won't be able to cover Heatwave and Forbidden Door live. But yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the Kayfabe page. It's $5 minimum to subscribe to the exclusive wrestling content tier. So if you are able to, that would be greatly appreciated. I would appreciate that so much. Um, yeah, check out the Discord server as well. We have a Discord server if you want to come find a place to chat it up about wrestling or anything else in the world, have debates, throw out your predictions for shows, pay-per-views, anything like that, then the Discord server is the place to be. I want to build like more of a community in there, like I've been mentioning before on these podcasts. So as many people as we can get in the Discord, the better. And yeah, it's gonna be a friendly environment. Yeah, it's gonna be friendly. So if like you're someone who's like shy about like being made fun of or something like that, me, Roostu, we're all very nice people. So we all get along and we'll have friendly conversations. And anybody that um is rude about things will probably just be kicked out of the Discord server. Um because we don't like that over here. But yeah, we are going to get into TNA Impact and everything that went down. So the opening segment was Trick Williams kicking off the show, just bragging about him being TNA World Champion. He's saying, he wears the title upside down because he turned TNA upside down. Of course, Mike Santana interrupts and saying that he should be world champion or whatever, that he didn't get pinned. And then Trick Williams says he has a term in his contract where he doesn't have to defend the title for 50 days. That's a new one. I don't think I've heard that one before. So apparently, Trick has a lawyer who, got him this 50-day rule. He doesn't have to defend in 50 days, which I I think Bound for Glory is within the 50-day range, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so he should, be defending by Bound for Glory, which is probably where he's going to lose that title at the biggest show of the year. It's going to go back to TNA, and it's more than likely going to go to Mike Santana. So yeah, that was that segment. We had a Gia Miller interview with Order 4. Mustafa Ali talking about the main event that happened later that night. Nothing too much there. They just said that they don't trust the system that they're gonna win the match. Um we then had Trick Williams talking with AJ Francis backstage, Santino approached them and said he's going to have to review the contract. And then he pretty much just said that the contract doesn't say Trick doesn't have to compete at all. So he's making a tag match for next week. Trick Williams and AJ Francis versus Mike Santana and a partner. So there's that. The first match of the night was the TNA Knockouts Gauntlet match. We had a few women in here. We had kicking it off was Zaya Brookside and Killer Kelly. Zaya Brookside ended up winning that. After that, it was Zaya Brookside and Danny Palmer. Danny Palmer ended up beating Zaya Brookside. After that, it was who was it? It was it was Rosemary who came out after that. Rosemary also lost to Danny Luna. Out came Indy Hartwell, and as Indy Hartwell was making her way to the ring, Rosemary attacked her, but then security quickly broke it up. It wasn't much of an attack. It was just threw a few punches, and Indy was like, what the hell? What's wrong with her? So Indy Hartwell then beats Danny Luna. And then Indy Hartwell goes to help Danny Luna up. But then Danny Luna lays her out with a clothesline, signifying this like heel turn or some sorts from Danny Luna. And then the last member, Jody Threat, comes out and asking Danny Luna, "What the hell are you doing?" And Danny's like, "I did this for you. This is all for you. Even though I deserve this." Some logic there. I'm doing this for you, but I deserve it. But I'm doing it for you. Sometimes wrestling doesn't make sense, and you know what? It is what it is. But yeah, so Jody Threat goes into the ring. The bell rings, and then as soon as the bell rings, Danny Luna goes in the ring and takes out Jody Threat, and then attacks Indy Hartwell. And by way of disqualification, Jody Threat wins the gauntlet match and is now the number one contender for the Knockouts World Championship. We eventually had something with Jody Threat saying she didn't deserve it, went up to Santino Marella and everything and said, I don't deserve this. Like I didn't earn it or whatever like that. So I'm not sure what they're gonna do with that. Maybe it's gonna be a match between Indy Hartwell and Jody Threat that Indy Hartwell ends up winning, and we get Indy Hartwell versus JC Jane for the Knockouts World Championship. I could see that playing a part. What else did we have? I'm like scrolling through all my notes here. We had a backstage promo with the Inspiration. They said they were still focused on the tag team belts, and all that stuff, and they were interrupted. Who were they interrupted by? Oh yeah, I was trying to remember off the top of my head. Fatal Influence, Jasmine Nix and Fallon Henley interrupted them, and we're pretty much saying that NXT is the superior brand. They weren't even really talking about the TNA Knockouts tag titles. They were just like, oh, NXT is the superior brand. And then the the Iconics, the Inspiration was pretty much like, my fan just fell. Which said, prove it then, and then I guess they're gonna have a match next week. So that was that segment. We also had Ryan Nemeth coming out and saying his big brother, Nick Nemeth, is going to be returning in 2 weeks to TNA Wrestling. So that's all that segment was. We then had Jake Something versus Frankie Kazarian, a match that was pretty good. I enjoyed watching this match. There were some stiff shots in there from Jake Something, and yeah, pretty good match all around. I got a thumbs up from me. And I don't know, I wasn't expecting this to be as good of a match, even though I know both competitors are great in their own right. But I wasn't expecting a lot from this match, and they gave a pretty good match. Frankie Kazarian ends up winning the match, however. Yeah, good match, and that was it. Frankie Kazarian won. Nothing else happened after that. Mara Sade was painting backstage, and then the Hardys came by and said, "Oh man, that's a great painting," or whatever. That's all it was. That's all that segment was. Um, Leon Slater and Cedric Alexander were having a conversation. Now, this I didn't hear what was going on because I was talking to my family during this segment and I didn't catch much what was said here. So yeah, I really don't know what was said in this segment. So I apologize for that. But yeah, Leon Slater and Cedric Alexander were having a conversation backstage. Santino Morella was on the phone and said, like the legal language was confusing or whatever. Steve Macklin then approached him and said, I heard Mike Santana needs a partner and I will be that partner. And Santino's like, oh, great. I was thinking of calling you just now anyway. So it's going to be Steve Macklin and Mike Santana. I almost said JC Jane. Steve Macklin and Mike Santana versus AJ Francis and Trick Williams. I believe that's going to happen next week on TNA. We then had the JC Jane segment where she came out. She, boasted about being NXT Women's Champion and NXT Knockout, TNA Knockouts Champion. Then was interrupted by Ash by Elegance, who just came out fired up and angry and was like, I'm a 15-time, WWE champion. She's talking about the 24/7 title. If anyone didn't catch that. And typical heel, like you're gonna brag about like anything that you've accomplished. So it is what it is. Excuse me. So she was bragging about herself and she's saying how it should have been a one-on-one match and that Masha Slamovich doesn't belong in the match. Then Masha, of course, interrupts and says, I'm gonna beat both of you at Heatwave and I'm gonna win. And it was pretty much like, no, I'm gonna win. No, I'm gonna win. You're gonna lose. No, I'm not. That's what it was. And then it ended with JC Jane just holding up the two titles as Masha and Ash just argued. Um, the personal concierge and Ash by Elegance interrupted um JC Jane. That's how that started. Um that's what I wrote. Ash by Elegance called JC Jane an attention whore, which caught me completely off guard. Um yeah, that was very, very interesting. Um just, Ash was just on one tonight. Like I don't know what she was just fired up tonight. And you know what? Kudos. You're gonna need all that for NXT Heatwave. So yeah, sure, go for it. I don't think I've seen an Ash by Elegance promo where she was that fired up. But yeah, she obviously was giving her all in that promo. So kudos to her. Um we had yet another backstage segment, and see, this is the thing. Like I get it's the weekly shows, but damn, even with TNA, these segments are just they're like back to back, and it's like it piles on top of each other. It's like, okay, I want to see some wrestling now because we still have yet to get to the third match of the night. But we had another backstage segment where like Tasha Steelz and the Great Hands were making fun of Mar Sade's painting while she wasn't there. And then Sade and the Hardys came into the room. Sade challenged Tasha Steelz to a match. I believe that's going to happen next week as well. So yeah, that was that. Um, Eric Young approached Myron Reed and was telling that him pretty much like how he's the third guy in the group of like the Rascals, and he's gonna get left aside or whatever. Zachary Wentz then came and he's like, "Hey, what's going on here?" Myron was like, "Oh, nothing. I'm just gonna fight him next week." Um, so yeah, that was that. Um, then we had the main event of the night, which was the System, Moose and Brian Myers, obviously with Alicia Edwards and Matt Cardona against Order 4, Mustafa Ali, Jason Hotch, and John Schuyler with Tasha Steelz. Fantastic match. Awesome match by these six men and all around great. And again, for some reason, I knew this was going to be a good match because I know all six competitors in this match are talented, but damn, they impressed me with this one for a TNA Impact episode. They did pretty freaking good. So kudos to all six men, and yeah, fantastic match, and ended with Order Four winning. Um, After the match, Order Four continued the attack on the system, and Matt Cardona attacked Cardona with a chair. JDC came out to make the save, did an insane dive to the outside, but then eventually also got taken out by Agent Zero, I believe they're calling him. So yeah, Agent Zero takes out JDC. Order 4 stands tall to close the show. And yeah, that was TNA Impact for August 21st, 2025. Let me know what you guys thought of TNA Impact if you checked it out tonight. What some things you took away from it, what some things you could have done without on this episode. So yeah, let me know. And like I said at the beginning, there's a plethora of ways you can let me know. You can let me know in the YouTube comments. These won't be on Spotify, like I mentioned before. But yeah, you can still leave a comment over there on Spotify if you want to. There's also the Kayfabe Central website you can leave a comment on. We also have like you can subscribe to newsletters where you can see anytime I post coverage or anything that I post on the website, you'll get notified immediately. If you just go onto the website, you scroll like all the way down and just enter your email, and every post I have on the website will go straight to your email. So yeah, anytime a coverage post goes up, you will see it right away. So yeah, maybe take advantage of that. That's not something I promote often. Something I do promote often though, and if you are able to, I highly recommend you guys check out the Kayfabe Central Ko-Fi page. It's $5 minimum to subscribe to the exclusive wrestling content here. I have a bunch of different content planned for the Ko-Fi page now. Like this coming week, and the weeks to come as well. So yeah, go check that out. And yeah, go check out my TikTok as well. I am probably going to post a TNA review on there, like a shorter one. But yeah, I post a whole bunch of different content on my TikTok as well. So go and check that out as well. And yeah, that is your TNA Impact review, your post show review for August 21st, 2025. Like I said before, make sure you guys let me know if you agree or disagree with anything I said. I always love hearing you guys' opinions. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.